Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thanks for joining this instance of the Antrea community meeting. For today, we have several topics to go through. We have a presentation from Hong Liang regarding a solution for pod-to-pod networking acceleration in a no-incap mode. And then we have presentations from the CNCF mentorship program. Now, I am not really sure if we have one or two presentations for today. So maybe I know that we have two mentees, Harsh and Gadir. Gadir is here. Good morning, Gadir. And from what I heard, Harsh was supposed to be sending a video with his presentation. Do we have it or not?
No, we didn't have it. Yeah,
Okay,
so yeah, I think maybe next week, next time.
perfect. So for this instance, we have one CNCF mentorship presentation, the one for Gadir. So as we for this meeting agenda, maybe let's start with a Hongliang discussion concerning the pod-to-pod networking acceleration solution, and then Gadir will present the work that she's done for using Renovate for dependency update. So since we have two topics, it's best if I shut up now and I let the presenters do their job. So Hong Liang, do you want to go first?
Okay, thanks, Salvador.
Please go ahead.
Okay. I will share my screen. Okay, could you see my screen? Um, but then the topic is not just about how to accelerate pod-to-pod to traffic and host network in no-incap mode. I decided to extend the topic to accelerate all possible traffic types in host networking. What we are trying to solve, we are trying to accelerate the traffic between Antrea GW0 and other interfaces, like the transport interface and the default route interface, and all possible interfaces where node porter serves on. Currently, we we have we may have 5 types of traffic. Mm, we need to speed up, like pod-to-pod or pod-to-service. These two types are only in no-incap. The traffic is between Antrea GW0 and the transport interface. As for external to load balancer IP or external IP, the traffic is between the default route interface and the Antrea GW0, where Antrea user install IP route to forward the traffic from external to OS pipeline. And this kind of traffic can be in no-incap or in-cap or in hybrid mode. Another one is external to node port. This kind of traffic might be from all possible interfaces. And it's a little special because Antrea install a DNS rule to forward the traffic to OS. Otherwise, the traffic will be received by the host networking stack. Another type is the external to service, but its endpoint is on remote node in no-incap mode. For this traffic type, ISNet is done on host network. The traffic is between Antrea GW0 and transport interface. Okay, for next,
Sorry, Ongying, what does external to service mean?
it means the like for example, like load balancer or external to load balancer or external IP. The it's about the phase two traffic. Phase one is the external traffic from phase one is from the default, like from the default root interface to Antrea 0. After processing by OS pipeline, it will be forwarded to host networking again, but the source IP will be isolated to a virtual IP because it's not in cap mode. And for the next phase is to forward the traffic to remote nodes, because its source IP is a virtual IP now, and this kind of traffic will be also isolated to the transport interface, the IP address. Is that okay?
We don't do SNAT in OVS for that case?
We don't assign the packet to the transport interface IP address in OS pipeline.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, got it. And so the three bottom rows here are for when proxy all is enabled, right?
Yes, that are all for proxy all cases.
Yeah.
Okay, that's well. For I have made two solutions. The first one is based on TC traffic control. For this solution, only the pod-to-pod and the pod-to-service traffic can be supported, because for traffic control, it's totally stateless, and the Antrea knows the Antrea GW0 and the transport interface. Antrea also know the source and desktop slider, the local and the remote transport interfaces MAC addresses. Besides, these two kinds of traffic don't rely on any host networking processing. For the next three, they may need a night in host networking. Besides, Antrea may not know the default root interface for the load balancer IP or external IP. And it's very complicated for TC to implement the cases involving ISNet alternate.
Hi, Hongliang. For the first two cases, assuming the destination is on a remote node, how do we get the node's MAC address? You mentioned it knows the MAC address.
Yes, I know what you mean. We do this in Windows. We have added such flow in Windows to speed up to bypass the host networking. So Antrea knows all the MAC addresses of nodes.
It's from the nodes annotation, nodes resource, node objects annotation, right?
Yes.
Right. Oh, okay, I see. Thanks.
Okay. The next is we need to for the solution based on traffic control, we need add an extra flow in layer 3 forwarding, and each source is the port slider. This dash is a remote port slider, and we need to rewrite the MAC address, the source address, set the source MAC address to the local node transport interface MAC address, and the test MAC address to the remote node transport interface MAC. We also need to add an extra flow in layer 2 forwarding calculate, and decide the output port by matching the destination MAC address. If the destination MAC address is the remote node transport interfaces, set it output port to the Antrea GW0. Additionally, we can rewrite the MAC in TC rules, but it's not easy. But it's easier to code rewrite the MAC addresses in OS flows. Next, for the TC rule, we need to add one rule installed on ETH0. We assume that it is the transport interface. We might match the this is the reply direction. We need to match the reply packets on ETH0 by matching the destination IP slider is the remote port slider, and the destination IP slider is the local port slider, and the source is the remote port slider, and redirect the traffic to Antrea GW0 egress. Then the packet will bypass the host networking stack. And similarly, we also need to add a rule on Antrea GW0 to match the packet source from local port slider and the destination for remote port slider. And these packets will be redirected to ETH0's egress, bypassing host networking stack. And because TC can't help do ARP resolution, so we have revised the MAC address in advance. The next solution is based on empty flow table. In theory,
I have a comment on the TC rule. It seems that in this solution we will need one flow for each pair of port slider, right?
Yes.
Basically, if there are n nodes, then we need n-1 flows on each node. I wonder if it's possible to use the global port slider. For example, if we can discover the global port slider, like what we do with the service slider, could it be aggregated into a single flow? Would that be more efficient?
And that would be possible if we have a such controller to discover the global port slider. But currently we don't have one, so I just do the POC like this.
Okay, I guess it depends on whether n flows is I mean whether a single flow would be significantly more efficient than n flows.
Yes.
Please continue the other solution first. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. The next one, generally speaking, I think all kinds of traffic could be supported by NFT flow table. And even more, and in the future we may support more traffic types like node to remote port slider. But let's just focus on this file. Okay, it's not very okay. It's easy to understand. First, we need to create an empty table. Not like IP tables. There are only for IP tables. There are only shared tables like raw, Mongo, NAT, and filter tables. In FT table, we can create multi tables in FT, and the rules from our tables will be called when processing packets. Here I add an individual table for Antrea called Antrea, and it's a single stack for IPv6 only. Next, we need to add a flow table in the Antrea table, and its name is called fast path. We may got a better name in the future, and we need to define the interfaces site where the traffic needs to be accelerated between this among these interfaces. Entry DRP0 will be concluded, and maybe maybe we can include all interfaces where node port served on for Antrea proxy. Another one, next, we need to add a hook point, and it seems that it's conventional to use the forward hook point. I just copied from some example. They also use forward hook point. Okay, for next, we will add the rules to match the connections that are expected to be accelerated. And we only need to match the connection for the first packet out in one direction. We don't need to match the packets in two directions. For port to port or port to service traffic, we just need to match the local port slider and the remote port slider. And for the external to port traffic, okay. Oh, this should be external to service traffic. It should match the S90 the IP address. The S90 is done in OS pipeline, and its destination is also the remote port slider. For the external to node port traffic, it should match the traffic. It should match the packets. It should match the denied packets, and the denied is done by the host network IP table items, which is installed by Antrea. And for load balancer or external IP traffic, no NAT is involved, so just match the IP address of the load balancer ingress IP or external IP. I think maybe we can also aggregate the port sider in the future if we have a controller like discovering port service sider.
Only for NF tables, I think it supports some more advanced data structure like map and set. Maybe that could be used to merge several IP addresses into one set or a map, and I think the efficiency is the same as what we usually get in code when using a map. So in this case, maybe we could use exact set of port siders of each node.
You are right. I remember that FT supports side. We don't need to use like IP side with another from another component. I remember FT supports site itself.
Yeah, even the last two rules, I think it could be merged into one rule and just use a set as a destination. Then we can add load balance IP, external IP, and even node port to the set.
Yes, you are right. Okay, next for the test result.
Sorry, Hongliang. I'm wondering, have you checked this with Kubi proxy when it's table mode is enabled? Why I'm asking that is I think with your offline regarding that when the Antrea has some trouble, I mean end-to-end the test will fail when the Antrea proxy all is enabled, and also Kubi proxy with NF table is also enabled.
For this quest. Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, if we go with this way, I mean, we probably need to also check the compatibility with Kubi proxy with NF table mode, since the Kubi proxy will also insert create its own table and different rules. I'm not sure if yeah. I mean that yeah, Kubi proxy with NF table mode. The Kubi will also insert different rules in the NF table. So I was trying to understand if this new way with NF table flow table in Antrea way to work well together with Kubi proxy. If it's
I got what you mean. Because the sequence when packet called when packet is processing, the sequence of calling different rules from different tables is decided by the priority, like this. We just need to set a higher priority than Kubi proxy. Then we can process the packets in advance. Currently, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe if we go this way, the issue when the Antrea is working with the Kubi proxy NF table mode, it might be fixed together if we have new rules.
I think no. we need to introduce an individual path to fix the issue. But if we decided to use app table to speed up the traffic, I think this path will rely on it, because we need to introduce the app table code first, and the issue you mentioned, to fix the issue you mentioned, we may first, or let me see. First, we need to introduce app table related code, and the second one, we need to add an individual app table of Antrea, and in this table we may do two things. The first one, we may fix the cookie proxy empty table mode, because we need to set a higher priority to max the service traffic. And the next one is to add the empty table for add the rule to speed up the traffic.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you can investigate that as well. And since they all depend on the new table codes.
Okay, we may discuss these more details. Okay.
I guess they should be fixed or improved separately, because even they both use NF tables, this the solution proposed by Hongliang relies on flow table, which is a more newer feature, right? Even in NF tables, and it's not available in all releases we support. Maybe it would require some newer Linux kernel, I guess. And for NF table kube proxy, NF tables mode compatibility, we will not restrict what Linux kernel will be used, right?
Okay, I didn't. I'm actually not aware the flow table is a quite new feature. Yeah, I guess we can estimate what's for next. Even they are in separate fix, we can check how to leverage maybe some share codes, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, hold on, thanks. You can go ahead.
Okay. For the test result, we can see the test result for port-to-port traffic. We can see that we got improvements in both solutions, and the traffic control based one has better improvement in TCP/TR, in TCP/CR, which is for satellite connections. For flow table based solution, we get better improvement in TCP stream for non-live connections, and TCP/RR for continuous connections. For port to service traffics, the result is almost the same as that of port to port traffic. For external to node, I only test the external to node port traffic, and its backend is on a remote node. At first, I was only thinking to accelerate the traffic on the ingress node. This is because the traffic will be isolated to the another types of traffic. It's the node to port side traffic because its source IP is the transport IP address. And we can see we got improvements in TCP stream and TCP bar, but we got a decrease. We got a decrease in TCP CR. I think that's expected because after for empty table is the first and the second package will go through the full host networking stack, and we add the extra processing, so the test result is not so good as the default one.
Only for the second scenario, do you know why it got this improvement? I mean, for the second, the one before this one, I see that even flow table got some improvement. Yeah, I mean, in flow table case, I assume that it should only add more overhead to it, right? Why it also got this improvement?
You mean the how to service? Is that this
yes one? Yes.
This I think the traffic of this the traffic is just very simple for host networking. It doesn't involve any DNet or SNet here. It's just for host networking. It's just like port to port. In fact, it's just port to port traffic. The DNet is done by OS pipeline, not host networking. So I think it's just almost the same as port to port service, port to port traffic.
So this improvement is because of the third packet of a session is accelerated, right?
Yes.
But why it does not apply to the third case? I assume that the third packet will also be accelerated.
The third case involves DNet and SNet in host networking. This might be the reason to slow down the throughput, but for the specific reason, I didn't got an idea.
Okay, you can continue. Share other data first. I'm just curious why this has different effect for CRR. Yeah.
Okay.
And Holiang, kind ask, can you try and finish in 5 minutes so we leave enough time for Gadir and her presentation?
Okay, I will. Yeah,
thank you.
Okay, for next, I have did another extra test, and the data is a little better. I think I add another FT rule to speed up the traffic on remote node, and okay, this is the data. Okay, this is just all the data of the test result we can see. And next, for the conclusion, for traffic control, it's better for TCP CRR and the bypass, and it bypasses the host network stack completely, but it's stateless. We need to hack the source and test the MAC addresses, and it's only limited to accelerate port-to-port or port-to-traffic traffic, and it cannot handle complicated traffic like the connections require ISNet or DNet on host networking. As for App-table, it's better for TCP stream and TCP/R. Only the first and the second packet will go through the full stack. For the subsequent packets, it will bypass most hooks like pre-routing, forwarding, and post-routing. It's stateful. We don't need to rewrite MAC addresses, and we can see the accelerated flows in contract tools. Besides, it's very flexible to extend to match extra types of traffic. Anyway, in my opinion, NFT might be a better solution because it's well integrated into the networking stack. Okay, any questions?
So, given that we just see like a few % drop in performance with flow table for the node port traffic, do we think we should just exclude that type of traffic for now from the flow table rules? And then basically we can just enable flow tables whenever it's available for all the other types of traffic. So we can enable flow tables for pod to pod and pod to service, and we can exclude external to node port because we observe that for some benchmarks and for like RPC types of workload, the performance is not as good. Then I don't think there would be any downside in enabling flow tables.
Okay, you mean we can first enable flow table for pod to pod and pod to service traffic?
Yeah, because then it's always better, right? Whereas
Yes.
for node port, it seems that in some cases it's not as good, even though it's close. And then we have the question of do we enable it by default and things like this. Whereas when I look at this, I think we can enable it by default for pod to pod and pod to service without any significant drawback, without any drawback actually, unless there is something else that I'm missing.
Yes. Okay. I
think the
forgot to
results
test.
are great. The results are great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I forgot to test the case external to node pod, and its backend is the local. It's a local pod. Maybe in that case, the TCP/R could be better.
And two more quick questions for you. The first one is, did you test on like a more stable server, or was that on your laptop with a kind cluster?
I just tested on my local MacBook, and I had our data is calculated from from 15 data 15 times, and I removed the first two and the last two data. So the average is from from 11 times, and I have reviewed the data. It's not it looks like it looks like very stable, not so.
Okay. And the second question is, do you have a build of Antrea with the flow table that you can share, or did you just add the roles manually for now?
I just installed the role manually.
Okay. Do you think you can submit a patch so we can do a build?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. I will stop the fire if no question.
Cool. Is there any other question for Liang? All right, it seems there isn't. Thanks a lot, Hong Liang, for this presentation. And now we move to the presentation about Renovate from Gadir. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Can you hear me first?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it. I can see it now.
Okay, great. So hello everyone. I'm so pleased to be here. My name is Ghadir. I'm an LFX mentee at the Antrea project, and I'm going to walk you through my mentorship program where I was responsible for migrating the dependency update from Dependabot to Renovate. First, let's talk about dependency management. So all software relies on third-party dependencies, and almost every day these dependencies will release a new version, which can be for adding a new feature, fixing bugs, or for security issues for fixing vulnerabilities. So updating them manually is going to be boring and time-consuming task for maintainers. So it's a lot of manual work, and there comes the power of automation. So the Antrea project relied on Dependabot for automating the task of updating these dependencies. It's an GitHub integrated tool that scans the repo for any outdated or vulnerable dependencies in the code, and then opens PRs to suggest updating them automatically. So what was the issue with using Dependabot at our use case? Well, for the Antrea project, it supported three latest releases. So the security updates needed to be managed for all of these branches. However, Dependabot had a complex configuration to update these dependencies. And for security updates, it can only add them to the default branch. In this case, it would be the main branch. Also, it had limited grouping and customization options. And for updating the release branches, the maintainers had to do that manually to keep these branches up to date. So looking for another tool to handle it manually is essential. So for my task, my main goals were to configure Renovate to update the main branch using the existing rules used by the Dependabot configuration. And for the active release branches, it had to handle the security updates for all of these branches. So the first question that will come to mind will be, why use Renovate? Well, Renovate has an advanced rich configuration that is well documented, and you can easily configure any rules for any number of branches. It has an easy branch targeting for each specific rules, and it can apply security updates for any number of branches. And it was also used by Cilium for a similar use case. And one bonus advantage when using Renovate is that it has an already configuration for auto-merging these PRs, which we will discuss a use case that we used it in the Antrea project. So for my implementation, I started by analyzing the Dependabot existing configuration and where its limitations. Then I studied the Renovate documentation and the Cilium configuration files, as it has a similar use case, to identify and point out all the optimal configurations that we can use in our configuration files. So let me walk you through some parts of the configuration file. So as mentioned that Renovate will handle multiple branches. So it has a global parameter that's called base branches, where you can list all the branches that you will be using inside the package rules. So in our case, it will be the main and the last three branch releases. And for each specific rule, we can specify the branches that this rule will apply to using the parameter called match-based branches. And I want to note that if you don't add this parameter, Renovate will apply this rule to all the branches that has been mentioned in globally in the base branches. As for the PR limit, Renovate comes with a number of parameters to limit the open PRs. So for our case, we used the PR concurrent limit that limits the number of open PRs. And for the hourly limit, the default in Renovate is 2. And when you set them to 0, that means that there is no limit, but it will stop when it reaches the maximum PR concurrent limit. There is also a branch concurrent limit that if you are handling many branches and you want to have like a maximum number for each branch, that you can specify that too. So we only needed to allow some packages to be updated. So this can be done using the global parameter called enabled managers, and we can list all these package managers, and we can use them inside the package rules afterwards. As for the security updates, Renovate comes with a parameter called vulnerability alerts. And when you enable them with true, it will scan the branches that are listed in the base branches and open PRs for all of these branches whenever there is a security update. So for PR labeling, Renovate comes with two options. Either to add these labels globally. So in our case, we wanted all of our PRs open by Renovate to have the label dependencies. And for any specific rules, you can also add another label. So in the rule here, we can see that it can also add the label add GitHub actions for any PR that's for the GitHub Actions package manager on the main branch. As for grouping, Renovate can support two types. You can match the package names or the prefixes, and you can also specify the group name and the group slugs for changing the branch names, and it can be handled easily. It's worth noting that for the package rules, they are enabled by default. So you don't need to add a line enable true inside the package rules. However, you need to explicitly disable rules. So for the upper rule, this rule is enabled by default. However, because we specified the enabled false, it will be disabling any major and minor updates for this package rule. So we mentioned that for Renovate, it has a configuration that you can easily auto-merge PRs. But first, let's discuss in the Dependabot case. Our use case was having npm non-major version updates needed to be auto-merged. However, there wasn't a configuration inside Dependabot directly where you can add that. So our workaround was using a separate workflow that's triggered once a PR is opened, and it can do all these checks. But on the other hand, when using Renovate, you can easily add the parameter auto-merge that will be handling auto-merging these PRs, which reduces the layers of complexity. So for example, if we open this PR, it was for the npm non-major updates. So if you can see that it had those dependencies to be updated, and once all the checks have passed, Renovate automatically merged this commit, and this commit was added to the main repo successfully. And we can add this parameter to any number of package rules. Comes to the last part of the configuration file, which was updating the branches that are monitored since they are hard-coded. So for this part, I used a script that's triggered whenever there is a new tag added, and it will go to the configuration file and look for the lines that had the release branches, and it will update them to the last 3 minor versions, so that we don't need to modify this configuration files manually. And now comes for the Renovate dashboard. So Renovate can be handled as self-hosted or cloud-hosted. So in our case, we used the cloud-hosted, and it has been for Mint. So as you can see, I installed Renovate for both my account and for the Antrea organization. So if we click on that, we can see a list of all the repos where Antrea will be monitoring these repos for any updates. For example, let's take the Antrea UI. So first, we can see that all the jobs that has been run for scanning the repo for any updates. One thing worth mentioning is that you can schedule when to receive the new PRs, but if you, for example, schedule them for 1 day in a week, but these jobs will continue running in the background. And if we scroll down here, we can see the detected dependencies. So for our Antrea UI configuration, we specified 3 enabled manager, which was npm, GitHub, and GoMod. So we can see that Innovate has detected all these dependencies and if we can expand them, it has written all of the dependencies with the version used, and whenever they are updated, this list is also updated. So let's see one of the details in a job. Let's see them for my forked repo for the Antrea UI2. So if you can click on a job, this part is really beneficial when testing the configuration. As simple as the configuration can be, they can be missed, or you can add misconfiguration and can be stuck with not understanding why a simple dependency is blocked or why is it enabled. So when using the log file, it can be really beneficial. As you can see, any log which says that this rule is blocked or it's enabled, so it's really helpful with troubleshooting and for verifying that the configuration is working as expected. They have two views: the debug mode where they have any issue, and the info which has like the minimal information used by the Renovate job. So my takeaways from working on this task was the importance of thorough configuration. As mentioned, reviewing the logs was really important to make sure that there is unexpected PRs that opened or any blocked rules by mistake. And I first compared the open PRs on my forked repo before merging them to the main Antrea repos. And and also the incremental validation, it reduces risks. We started migrating on the low repos inside the Antrea project, and it helped us caught any problems early so that they are not mistakenly added to the high critical repos. And I want to mention that my mentors, Lan, Antonin, and Juan, were really helpful, and they helped me so much. Their guidance and support helped me complete this task successfully. And now for time for questions.
Thanks, Gadir, for this presentation. Now, a very stupid question for me, but it seems to me that Renovate has already been deployed, right, in the Antrea repository, at least from the amount of messages I received over the weekend.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I was just wondering, have we already enabled Renovate on the Antrea repository?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's great. I was noticing a lot of messages over the weekend from Renovate, and I was indeed wondering where they were coming from. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any question for Gadir? Oh, waiting a few more seconds. Okay, that might be all. So thanks a lot, Gadir, for contributing contributing this to Antrea, and we look forward to see more contributions for you, and we hope that you really enjoyed this experience.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to contributing more to this project.
That's great. Right. Is there any final topic that anyone wants to bring up? Waiting 5 more seconds. This is your last chance, and that's it. So thanks again to Hongliang and Gadir for their presentations today. So for Harsh presentation, we will do it in the next community meeting in September. And for today, that's all. And therefore, I wish everybody a good day, good afternoon, good night, or good evening, and talk to you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.